Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something pretty interesting. It's where that intense loyalty sports fans have
Yeah, that real passion.
meets those, well, sometimes complicated feelings about national identity politics, especially between Canada and the U.S.
Right. It's a fascinating mix.
And we've got this source, a recent article, that gives a great window into this. It follows Canadian hockey fans, heading south for the NHL playoffs.
Specifically.
Well, we're talking Montreal Canadiens fans going to Washington to play the Capitals, Edmonton Oilers fans down in L.A. against the Kings, and it mentions Toronto, Ottawa, Winnipeg, too, in the background.
So real fans, real trips during playoff pressure.
Exactly. So the big question we're kind of exploring is what actually happens when that, deep national pride bumps up against the pull of something you just love, like your hockey team fighting for the cup.
And the article has some surprising stories, right? Insights into how people are juggling these feelings.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's very personal takes on navigating this uniquely Canadian situation right now.
What's striking, I think, right away is how personal these choices are. You've got individuals weighing like these big political ideas
The abstract stuff.
against the very real, very concrete desire to just be there cheering for their team. The article gives us a real snapshot of how these sort of large-scale tensions actually play out for individual people.
Okay, so let's get into the specifics. Mark Jarry and Gabriel Bourdieu, these are Montreal Canadiens fans, the article features.
Right.
And it notes Jarry had consciously cut back on spending in the U.S., even trips, after Trump's second term started, and all that talk about Canada becoming the 51st state.
So he had already taken a stance, basically.
A pretty clear one, yeah.
Yeah.
But then playoffs happen. Montreal's in.
Right. And Jerry's quote, it really captures that internal conflict, doesn't it? At a certain point, the heart wins over reason.
It really does.
And he even talks about feeling guilt, describing it like a divorce because he feels this pull to, stick together in Canada. That says a lot about how deep these feelings run for some.
A lot. And I think that distinction they make is so important. They said, we don't support the American government. We have nothing against American citizens.
That's key, isn't it? Separating the politics from the people.
It seems like that's how many of these fans are squaring this circle, making the trip okay in their own minds.
It's actually quite a nuanced position. It lets them criticize a government or a political situation, but still engage with the people, the culture, the sports scene over the border.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder how people manage these different layers.
Which kind of leads into the wider atmosphere, right? The article mentions things like the Star-Spangled Banner getting booed sometimes at Canadian games.
Yeah, that's happened. A pretty direct expression of tension.
And even the whole debate around Wayne Gretzky and his ties to Trump, questioning his, Canadianness.
And then you see the flip side, too. The article mentions some jeers during O Canada from American fans, even at that Canadiens Capitals game Jarry and Bourdieu went to.
So it's like this back and forth of national feeling playing out in the arena.
Exactly. These moments, they become symbols. Public displays of pride or sometimes friction. And the fact it happens at a game just shows how tangled up sports and national identity can get.
But beyond the symbols, there were real worries about just getting across the border. Bourdieu apparently mentioned his family and friends being nervous.
Nervous about what specifically?
Potential trouble at U.S. Customs. They brought up cases like Jasmine Mooney, that Canadian actress who got detained for, 12 days?
Wow. Yeah, that would make you nervous if you're just trying to go watch hockey.
Totally. It shows there's this real, tangible unease about how strained relations might affect you personally, just trying to travel.
Those stories, even if they're rare, probably echo quite loudly for people thinking about making the trip. Creates a sense of uncertainty.
And yet, what actually happened to Jarry and Bourdieu?
They got through fine, didn't they?
Completely smooth, apparently. Jarry even said they even wished us a good game.
Huh. So, a total contrast to the fear.
Right. It's interesting. Maybe it suggests that while the political noise is loud, the day-to-day interactions at the border, maybe especially for fans going to a specific event, aren't always reflecting that top-level tension.
Or maybe it just varies a lot depending on who you encounter, the specific circumstances, but still a positive experience for them.
But looking bigger picture, the travel trend is down. The article pulls Statistics Canada data.
Oh, yeah. What a show.
A big drop in Canadians returning from the U.S. in the last month compared to the year before. 13.5% down for air travel. And get this, 31.9% down by car.
32% almost. Wow, that's That's not insignificant.
Not at all. It feels like more than just random fluctuation.
No, that kind of number suggests that these political feelings, or maybe economic factors too, are genuinely impacting travel decisions for a lot of Canadians, not just the hardcore fans weighing a playoff trip.
But then you talk to other fans, and the perspectives are all over the place. Like Alicia, another Canadians fan. She said she wouldn't go to the U.S. for 4 years unless her team was playing.
So hockey trumps everything for her.
Pretty much. She felt like hockey fandom transcends politics. Talked about what hockey means for us as Canadians, how sports can bring people together. It's a very idealistic take, almost.
That really speaks to the power of hockey in Canada, doesn't it? As part of the identity. For her, that shared fan experience, the team loyalty, it just outweighs the political stuff. It's about that collective cultural thing.
And then completely the other end of the spectrum, you have this guy, Reynold Couillard. He basically shrugs off politics, calls it mostly a joke.
Just wants to have fun.
Yeah. He compared going to the U.S. to, like, going to Hong Kong or Singapore. Just another place to visit. Politics doesn't enter the equation for him.
So that's another way people handle it, and just compartmentalize completely. The political situation is over there. His enjoyment and travel plans are over here. Shows you how differently people prioritize things.
And it wasn't just Habs fans feeling differently. The article mentions Edmonton Oilers fans going to L.A. Sam Chiarello said he really didn't care about the politics.
Didn't care at all.
Nope. And Jesslyn Brickner, another Oilers fan, her biggest stress wasn't Trump or border issues. It was the weak Canadian dollar.
Ah, the practicalities.
Exactly. It was hitting their budget for a Disney trip they'd planned around the playoff games.
Right.
So for some, it's the wallet that speaks loudest, not the political commentary.
Which makes sense. I mean, exchange rates, vacation costs, those are immediate, tangible things. Sometimes they're just going to be more front of mind than, geopolitical tensions. It really shows the mix of motivations.
This whole situation even spun off a funny little side story. There's this brewery in Washington, D.C., Red Bear Brewing.
Okay.
They have this beer called 51st State IPA.
Oh, boy. Given the context.
Right. But apparently they named it back in 2019. It was a nod to D.C., trying to get statehood, nothing to do with Canada.
Ah, okay. Local politics.
But now, with all the annexation talk resurfacing, they've apparently had Canadian customers contacting them, kind of confused or asking about it.
I can imagine. That's an awkward coincidence.
And the really weird part, they said sales of that specific beer have actually gone up since the Canada annexation rhetoric ramped up again.
Get out. That's bizarre. So the controversy, even though it's based on a misunderstanding, is actually boosting sales.
Seems like it. It just shows how these political narratives are out there, seeping into everything, even beer names, in unexpected ways.
Wow. That's a story in itself.
So, wrapping this up, you really see this clear tension, right? This powerful pull, wanting to support your team, clashing with genuine political feelings, worries about national identity, crossing that border.
Absolutely. And what's so insightful from these stories is seeing the range of how people navigate that. It's complex, often contradictory. You've got deep hesitation, real feelings of conflict on one side.
Like Jerry's guilt.
Exactly. And on the other side, you've got people just dismissing the politics entirely when it comes to their fandom or their fun.
Like Reynold Couillard.
Right. It paints this picture of maybe a duality in how Canadians view their relationship with the U.S. For some, that national identity is always a filter, even for personal passions. For others, maybe the borders feel less relevant for certain things, like chasing your team. It might reflect the complex Canadian identity itself, close neighbors, shared culture, but very distinct politics.
It definitely leaves you thinking. In this world that's so connected, how do our personal loyalties to a team, to a passion, how do they really intersect with these bigger political currents and national identities?
Mm-hmm.
And what does it say about shared culture, like sports, that these fans are so committed, crossing borders, even when things feel tense? Does it show how powerful those shared experiences are, maybe even powerful enough to bridge some of those divides?
That's the question, isn't it? Something for you to mull over.
Indeed. That's your food for thought from this deep dive. Till next time.